And welcome to the Uncle Pucker New Jersey Devil podcast on this fine, rainy in Jersey. Not sure how you are doing in Maryland there, Tim.
It rained.
Saturday night.
Past
It rained.
tense.
I'm Chris with Tim. We're hoping that Bobby makes it on. But anyway, we're gonna have a nice little fun show tonight. We have 5 questions that Tim and I both answered, probably very differently, about the upcoming Devil season. And what do you got, Tim?
No, that's really about it. You gave us some homework, and I did that. I did my assignment, sort of. Maybe scribbling some notes, like
You did it on the bus on the way to school.
before I turned it in. Yeah, I'm actually more like I'm at homeroom right now. About to
There you
turn
go.
it in. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. But
You
no, it should be a good show. And I talk. I'm in the middle of a new blog, and I'm not sure kind of which direction to go in. And actually, I have a question for you that I will drop on you
That sounds good.
on the fly.
All right. Well, let's get this thing started. Away we go.
Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Pucker's New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
Thank you, Mr. Devil, Mr. Hockey. I almost called him Mr. Devil, Mr. Devil Hockey Man. So, what's your question to me, Tim?
All right. Well, I'm currently my next blog. I got a little delayed because I've been doing manual labor, as I told you, for my aunt who asked for a new deer fence around her garden. So that deer fence is requiring about 40 4x4 posts, and I have to manually dig all those holes. And her soil isn't exactly the digging kind of soil, so it's been kind of annoying. And I fucked up my hand on Wednesday in my game. I don't know, I like jammed it or something, but it was like really swollen. So kind of been working with one hand. But anyway, so the blog that I've been slowly putting together is about the power play. I love talking about the power play. I'm a power play aficionado. My coaches, they politely called me a power play specialist, which really kind of meant that I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in the defensive zone, which, was true.
So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean when they call you that your specialty is a good thing. You could be a power play specialist, and you are just increasingly bad. So yeah, he's a specialist.
It was absolutely said in a derogatory way.
That's 100% was how most of my compliments have come in my life, Tim. I'm with you.
Yeah, power play special derogatory. So speaking of power play one, so I've gotten to the point where I talk about why we should probably not make any major personnel changes up front. The only one I'd really see is Bobby.
Hey, Bobby's here. Now I have to get rid of our header because they can't see me.
Might be for the best.
I see something's never changed.
Hi, Bob.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There he is.
You've been he's already drinking. That's why.
He's getting.
Well, if I'm going to stay up for this shit, I'm going to have a beer.
Right. That's it.
We're going to get unfiltered, Bob.
All right. Yeah. So Tim's now telling us he's getting he wants some input on a article.
I'm glad both of you are here. So I my next blog, I'm writing about the power play, kind of the intricacies of it, some of like the plays, what Colleton does with formations and motion and where the guys are set, why they swapped Nason and Timo and what that kind of added to it. Then I get into why I don't think it'll really change, but the only kind of personnel changes that I could see happening. And the first one would be Nason and Mercer. I could see them swapping. And actually, Chris, that leads me to your homework from before. But my next question of you guys is, going into next season, would you have Luke or Dougie be the power play one quarterback?
Bob, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think to start the season, it's Dougie's to lose. Just think he has a little more pedigree there, a little more fear for his shot that opens up power play in other ways. So I would definitely start there. I remember a couple years ago when Luke kind of took it, I was kind of like, I don't know that that's where he should be right now. I think if we didn't have Dougie, Luke's absolutely fine there. And it could be by the end of the year that it turns out to be Luke, the way his projection is. But for right now, I would start with Dougie.
I agree with Bobby on that, Tim, but I'll even take it one step further. I would make Dougie the quarterback of Power Play 1 because Luke's currently not on our team. So I'm going to go with Dougie.
All right. Yes, I was
All the
making.
small
I am.
things with this
I
guy.
am making an employment assumption
Right.
about Luke. So no, that's kind of where I'm going to go with it. Almost exactly what Bob said. It's like I think Luke still has some stuff to iron out. You know, like I talk about the slingshot power play zone entry where the defenseman drops it back to the forward, and just how Luke is just absolutely fucking awful at it. Like I even remember one time vividly where he was like a foot into the offensive zone. It's almost like he forgets that he's supposed to do that.
It's exactly what it's like. And
It's
all
like
of a sudden it clicks like, oh, I
he's
forgot
like,
to
oh
drop
shit,
it
I was
back.
supposed to drop it, so I have
Yeah.
to spin all the way around and turn it back. Like really,
Meanwhile, he's behind the goal in the
Yeah.
offensive zone, just shooting
So-
it back out to the neutral zone for Jack.
Yeah, and then what Bob said about Dougie's shot still being a threat. Teams have to respect that. I'm trying to, and I don't know if there's a better way to do this. And if someone can tell me there's like a repository of every single Devils goal that I can sift through one by one, as opposed to going to the NHL site and watching every goal in the score recaps. I would love to know what that is, because basically what I'm doing is I'm going into NHL.com, going to the scores, looking for Devils games, scrolling through the goals that we scored, seeing if there's a power play goal, watching that power play goal, and seeing if it lines up with what I want to say. So
That's a lot of work.
In a way, it's a lot of work, but it sounds like fun work. You know what I mean?
It
If I had time to
kind
do
of
that,
is.
that's kind of cool. Like,
yeah, no, it's fun. It's just like because I know they're like 3 or 4 goals that I have in my head that I know are the ones that I want to use as a perfect example. I found 2 of them, and I'm still combing through the archives looking for more. So anyway, if anybody knows that, please, by all means.
Yeah.
I'm sure that our listeners know a place where you could probably get everything. So yeah,
All 6 of the fucking retarded monkeys that listen to us.
you're not allowed to say that word anymore.
and we're down to 5.
Monkeys.
Monkeys.
Can't say
but,
monkeys. Bob, did you do your homework?
Well,
Did I have homework?
yes,
I
you were
gave
supposed to
homework,
watch that
yes.
fucking documentary. Did you watch it?
I now know who the most hateable face in the world is. So yes, in fact, I did do my homework.
All right, there
That
you go.
wasn't the homework, but I'm glad you watched it. We should talk about that for a
was-
second.
Yeah, we should, because I don't know. You guys kind of alluded to how hateable a person can be, and I understand that completely now. Like, so incredibly hateable,
And she
awful
became
human being.
so much more hateable after we had already found out that she was the one, and then she sat there just making excuses for taking any
justifying
responsibility.
everything. Yes.
I'm listening to this woman, and like I look at my wife, I'm like, how could anybody ever believe anything that comes out of this woman's mouth? Like, she's obviously everything is a lie, and that's a sociopath. She believes all this shit. But to do that to anybody, but to do that to your friggin' child, what in God's name is wrong with you?
Vile shit she was saying.
And it's all because she wanted to fuck her boyfriend. Like, that's the most disgusting thing. There's actually, my daughter sent us this there's a big article that's out. It's I forget where. I can get it for you if you really want to know. And it goes much more in depth of like what the mother was doing and stuff. Like, they were broke. We saw that in the documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lost their house. They didn't have any money. She spent the kid, Owen was his name, I think, the boyfriend. He was playing some sport. I don't know what fucking sport he played, but they were going down to Florida for this tournament. She packed up the family and spent their money that they had saved to go there, just saying, well, we have to support Owen. This is after they were broken up, like well into a year or so of these texts going through. And there was a bunch of other things like that. So it's like she wanted to fucking, she was in love with him. It's crazy.
Yeah, I honestly don't send that to me. I don't want to learn any more about this person.
Yeah.
I'm kind of moving on to the next most horrible person, which is that woman at the Phillies game that stole the ball from the dad. Did you see this?
It was actually in Miami.
Was it in Miami?
It was in Miami, but it was against Phillies. So yeah, that is another extremely hateable person. I mean, listen, I've been there. Like, I've caught a puck before several feet from a child. If anything, I saved the child, and instantly everyone looked at me. It was the Providence Civic Center, Chris, right behind the net.
Right.
And right away, I knew what I had to do. This was like a toddler, had no idea. It didn't matter. Like, puck comes out of my hand, goes
give
to
it
the
to the kid.
toddler. Like, there you go. Get all the cheers. You move on.
Well, let me
Like-
ask you a question, though, because, I mean, you're talking about that is maybe what, 20, 25 years ago that you did that, right?
My college, like 7.
Right. Yeah. 28-year-old Bob.
We found this random 30-year-old to join us.
Isn't it more that, to me, like, well, what do you think? Because I kind of think like that was normal back then, that we were much kinder as a society, that we didn't have this, where this woman, like, you saw the man give it to a kid, and there were no kids in your section, like with your group. I watched it a couple of times. I don't think there was a kid there. Like, she went just to get it because it was hers. And God damn it, who are you to come and take a baseball, which is fair game? First baseball game I ever went to was A's Yankee game. My cousin and her husband at the time took me. I was, I would say maybe 10. And we were sitting right behind the first baseline. And one of the A's, I don't know who it was, hit a foul ball. Like, this thing was rocketed right past me and smacked the dude next to me right in the jaw. And I mean, he went down. And of course, now they rush down, they get him. And I had the ball fell, like, that hit him. And when the ushers came back around, like, I wasn't prompted. I was like, can you give this to the guy? The guy just got his jaw broken. Like, even though I'm 10, I'm not going to take his ball. And they did, like, they came down after I gave that to him and gave me a ball. And I want the one that Mark McGuire just hit over the fence. Go get me that one. They didn't do it. But anyway.
My God, that's the trade-off, by the way, right? I get that one. I get his 60-second. No, I pre-select the kid. Like, when I get there, I'm like, if something comes my way, I'm probably giving it to that kid unless he does something shitty before that happens. In which case, I pick a backup kid, and I've never come anywhere near.
The kid to say if he gets a ball or a puck, I could totally kick his ass and take it.
Right,
that's where I go. Yeah. So, like, anyone over 9, I'm not fucking with.
Yeah, man, you jumped on my joke.
It's the same height, right?
It is.
What's that, Shorty?
Did I say that out loud?
It is
quite kettle. Thank you.
Quite disgusting what people become, and I'm probably the most silent on here about such a topic that I'm only going to broach and we will not go into. I would just say that not only is that person disgraceful, but what has come about it is a certain party or followers of a party making it political. I have seen many
is it making this political
on social media. One who's a friend, or I guess at least an acquaintance of mine, who just simply said, well, we know who she voted for. And then I went to some of the other platforms, and it was just
it's the same shit,
tearing into liberals and all this stuff. Like, this maniac of a woman to certain people represents a whole belief system of a group of people.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that came of this. I think it's absolute rhetoric. And this is the one thing I'm saying about it. Like, anybody who's listening, if you're one of the ones posting that kind of shit, shame on you. Like, that's just awful. Just as one bad person, let her be a bad person. Don't bring politics into it. Plus, you're making assumptions, by the way.
But like to immediately, like, that's the connection you make. It's like
that's the firing
something's
thing.
Wrong. It's like, this is just a shitty person. Like,
that's my point.
I mean, are we all against the idea that Trump supporters would do a shitty thing? Like, are you serious? Like, there's no reason to ever bring it in, but, like, you can't, like you said, just throw an entire group of people in for this one way this Karen acted. Like,
I already saw someone get misidentified as the person, and have that person who was misidentified have their voting registration made public. So it's like, yeah, like, people just do that immediately. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But Chris, to your point, like, I don't, like, for every one video of something like that, I will see 10, 15 of people doing the right thing and giving the ball to a kid, or like a funny video of, like, a parent blocking a kid, or like a dad catching a ball, like, while holding a beer with a baby.
But I'm just saying, in the much bigger view, I think that people have just gotten straight up worse to each other than they ever did. I
Yeah,
think
the
people have,
internet was a mistake.
oh, big time.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely big time. The idea that, yeah, you can just, and there's no consequences. That's where it comes from, right? It's just an extension of how you act behind a keyboard, right? And it's just
Yeah.
feeling more brazen and brave that I can say whatever I want. I've been doing it for years. I trash people. I say whatever I want. I'm speaking as a third person here, not me. I don't do any of that. But, you know, you do all that and then you feel like you can just do it in public, right? Like you kind of have the, okay, after a while, I think you just feel like that's me. I can just go and it's such a negative way to live. And people that live like just in negative comments and being contrarians, like I don't understand how you enjoy anything in this world. And I don't give a shit what side of the aisle you're on. It's all the internet.
The other thing though, it's like we don't need this woman did something shitty and stupid. She doesn't need to have her life ruined and get fired from her job and shit like that because of this.
Absolutely
Like,
not.
She didn't murder anybody. She didn't like
That we know of.
do. She is in Florida.
Statistics say that psycho probably murdered somebody.
So yeah, so
Over fucking baseball.
it's like all right, let's move on. You know, there's still shitty people that text their daughter that they should kill themselves.
Yeah, and you're right though. People, this idea that this gang mentality of if somebody does something shitty and we're all going to just gang up on this person and ruin their lives in any way possible because they made a mistake, because, you know, those people are perfect and they never, ever make mistakes. And that's, I mean, it's always in the back of my head that like I'm being filmed everywhere, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, I'm being recorded.
And you just jerk off wherever you want anyway.
I don't give a
Crazy.
shit. I don't fucking care. You want to post it? Post it. You think I'm disgusting human? I don't care.
Isn't it also those that are woke that would have gotten her canceled? So isn't it just kind of like a
right? But they would eat their own. The woke would
right?
They would eat their own.
I can't keep up with it anymore. I couldn't believe that it turned there.
Sometimes I want to get off this ride.
Yeah, I mean, go back to that line from Futurama when Professor Farnsworth, when he's having this, the whole episode is about evolution, and you know, so he ends up just having this huge argument with other scientists and other people who believe in creationalism, and he just goes, "I don't want to live on this planet anymore." That's how I feel sometimes. Like I just don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Yeah.
There's no place else to go though.
Not yet.
But like the political aspect of it, like everyone is just so. Everyone is tribal, man. Like that's it. And if you are not
sides, and
it's this like even, and it's crazy because like, and then we can get on the hockey after this. But I saw this clip of on Joe Rogan. He said, "Yeah, have you seen this clip about of Tim Walz?" Right. So it's a video of Tim Walz coming down an elevator wearing a white T-shirt that says "fuck Trump" on it, right? And he's doing this stupid, weird dance and like smacking his ass, and it's fucking really weird.
Sounds awful.
And he's going, you know, and Rogan, who gazillions of people listen to on a regular basis and get a lot of their information and personality from, and he's going, you know, trashing Walz. His partner was trashing, or his guest was trashing Walz, and they're like, "You didn't see the clip? Get the clip. Get the clip." He's telling Jamie to get the clip, and Jamie's like, "It's not real." And he's like, "Oh, it's fucking absolutely real, absolutely fucking real. There's no way that this is fake." And it literally said above the video, like AI generated. This was an AI generated clip, but Rogan is just, and then after 5 minutes of fighting with Jamie that it was fake. I'm exaggerating, more like 10 seconds. And him telling, like, no, it says right on top that this is AI generated. Like, he was just, oh, okay. And just moves on. Like, dude, that's like a moment to be like, you know what? I fucked up there. And we got to be like a little bit careful that we don't just jump into it. No, he just blew it off. Like, it's just, especially him, like, he has such a huge audience, and he has people that listen to him and they take what he says for real. And if you blow this shit off, or you are just as ignorant as everybody else, like, we're all fucked. Like, Idiocracy is a fucking biopic soon, you know? Like, it's getting
now
there.
back to our regularly scheduled program.
Well, that was a fun Saturday night conversation.
What was my hockey homework?
The hockey homework, I texted it to you. I gave you the 5 questions, and you know, nothing.
You put it in our classroom schedule. You didn't
You
get
need
it.
to, need to get on the portal more, and
we're gonna bring this back to high school level. You go ahead and do the test. I will pretend like I'm prepared.
Tim did his on the bus. Like, yeah, I
I
get
will
it.
I was-
have the
I-
answers for you.
I was scribbling my answers as
Yeah.
as we jumped on the pod. So
I
I
had all
do
my
remember
answers.
that text buried in the other
Right,
2.5
gazillion of
thousand
them.
that we do. But yeah, I did not do my
Yeah.
homework.
yeah, I do feel like a lot of times Chris and I are having a full blown conversation, and you guys pop in. You're like 71 texts. Fuck.
Yeah.
sometimes
Sometimes I'm at the rink, sometimes I'm sleeping, working.
Yeah.
I don't know all the weird things that people
Oh,
do.
by the
I mean,
way,
there's times too that you two do it, and I just ignore it. But when I realize like me and Tim are the only two talking, I'll usually switch to just
you will
texting
just
Tim.
go. Yeah, you
You
will. Just
know.
go there.
It's usually pretty humorous.
Speaking
So-
of at the rink, Bob.
Yes.
Well, how'd you do in your scorekeeper duty?
I did great. I had one major snafu, right? Because so I had
How many
volunteered.
more
I've
goals
kinda-
did you give your kids' team?
No, I kind of got bumped down to kind of like an assistant manager. I didn't really get the manager gig, because
Are you
there's a lot of
serious?
stuff I didn't want to. No, this is fine. But it's funny. It's ironic because the one thing I really didn't want to do was anything to do with the scoring because that's not how I like to watch the game. I want to focus on my kid when he's doing and not like the controls and the timing and all that. But here I am. I volunteered to I coordinated the schedule, and it's me and two other guys that are basically doing it all year for the home games. So this was my first time in the booth. We have both someone controlling the scoreboard and somebody controlling the actual league iPad to keep the score tracking of shots and all that kind of thing. Today was a non-league game, so all the practice we did on the iPad was back to this tiny little piece of paper. So other guy wound up doing that, and I controlled the scoreboard. So my biggest snafu was sitting down and proudly typing in clock 20 minutes, enter. Yeah. We don't play 20 minutes.
not
at
20
this level.
minutes.
I'm like, oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's NHL. So I was like, I'm pretty
What do you
sure.
play,
it's-
10?
I'm pretty sure it's 16. It was 13 elementary. I'm pretty sure middle school was. I'm like 16. And the ref's like,
Might be what you would want to, find out before you took over the timekeepers.
So you would
Or
think
stupid.
that the 20 was my fault, just being hockey
Right.
That's
NHL.
what-
20.
It's
We're
a
gonna make
hockey
these
game.
kids play
The
20.
16 then came from, well, then I'll use what middle school used.
It's
which
gonna
was
be like
16.
6 to overtime for a championship game
Right.
of a 20.
They told me 15. So we were behind by 15 minutes to start the game. So I got to get clarification if we have 16-minute periods or if that 15 was a shaving. The rest of it went really well. I was, especially with the penalties and stuff. So I was smart. I've got my notebook with me. Whatever they say, I'll write it down first, then type it into the scoreboard computer so you
Right.
don't forget. Because for example, when you get a penalty, what you have to do is like hit guess penalty, the number, enter the time penalty or the duration of the penalty, and hit enter. Now, if that penalty is killed, it just simply rolls off the clock. There's nothing more to do. If they score on that, you then have to remove that penalty.
Right.
By doing that, you've got to hit, like alternate guessed, whatever, put in the number, hit 0, hit enter, blah, blah, blah. So if you don't actually write it down the side, I ain't gonna fucking remember which number took that roughing penalty 45
Right.
seconds later, right? So I'm handling that just fine. Then all of a sudden, there's dual roughings or dual instigator and a roughing. It was almost like a fist fight. And the ref comes over and he's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know how to stack these 3 penalties, man. And you got like 20 seconds to figure all this stuff out on an archaic machine of push buttons.
Yeah,
I'm like,
those
shit.
machines are
I'm like, what? What did you say? What number? Who's doing what? And the ref goes, the 2 just cancel out. Just put 1 up there of 130. I'm like, okay, that I
Right.
can do. You should lead with that. Like, don't give
Yeah,
me
just-
3 different times and 3 different penalties. I mean, this is my first time here. But otherwise, I was clutch.
you didn't get any.
That's a-
Stop the clock! Stop the
Well,
clock!
that's
Nope.
why I have a
Nailed
question. Is it a
Right.
running clock or no?
No, we only do a running clock if you're losing by 6 or more goals in the third or entering the third.
Okay.
You do a running clock until that gap gets back down to 4.
Then
Which
you
I
go to
didn't
stop.
know last year because sometimes they would run the clock and it would drive me nuts. Like, why are you running the clock? So that's one of the rules. The other way
Okay.
you could run the clock is if you're drastically behind. But at this level, I don't think they do that. It's
Gotcha.
specifically on the
So
goal.
that makes
yeah,
your
I had
life
a good
harder.
time. But I'll show you. I just want to show you because I never got to do a little show and tell.
No,
So
that's it.
that's the home jersey.
That's a nice one.
That he had to remember at this level, they still do white for home. And that's the away jersey for tomorrow.
Dude,
That's a cool
that's
jersey.
sweet.
That's a
These
cool
are
jersey.
these are sick. And then of course,
Are they like hand
another
sunk
homage to
43? There we
yeah,
go.
this is legit. Those are as high quality of any jersey I wear for the Devils, dude. That's why they're a few $100s. I mean,
Like
it's,
the
it's the
Flyers
real deal.
adopt that logo as like a third jersey, the Liberty Bell.
The Liberty
Yeah.
Bell, that would be
Yeah.
really actually a great idea.
Pretty cool.
Pretty sure.
I love that.
So yeah,
That's
yeah,
fun.
it was
So good
good.
job.
I did not give anybody on our team any extra points, but I was very psyched to see my kid get the second helper on the 8th goal. It was a big scrum down there. Told you guys via text. He was a perfect decoy on a 2-on-1. He got no points for it, but he was just down the left wing flank, let the other guys score. It was absolutely textbook. And then towards the end of the third period, he's been working on elevating that puck. He's still little, he's still slight of frame, and he can lift it now and then, but consistently trying to lift it. And he got a juicy rebound that came out in the slot. He was in the perfect spot, kind of almost went down to a knee, lifted it about chest high. Goalie made a nice save on it. If it was a couple inches higher, a little bit stronger, it probably goes top corner. Of course, I'm in the booth, so I turn over to the coach who, I talk to all the time. And he looked at me, he's like, just one bicep curl, man. He's one bicep curl away from getting that next couple inches. But it was a beautiful setup. It was very encouraging for the team. And tomorrow's our first league game against supposedly a really tough team. So we have exactly enough forwards for 2 lines and exactly enough defense for 2 pairs.
Right.
Today we had one person. She's probably one of our best players. She's also a junior flyer, and she was not here today, but she'll come in, and then we'll have 4 on D. So today they had 3 D total, just rotating. But at least we had 2 lines, and the lines were clicking together. And these young kids, just kind of feeling their way. So it's really cool to see.
That's awesome.
The women's and girls junior flyer program is probably one of the best in the country, if not the best.
So far in my short experience, once we got past elementary school and got into the middle school last year, and now, these travel leagues, the girls, for the most part, if you got their money, dude, their skating is so much better than, I don't know why it is. And they're usually the most responsible, and they're on defense. And then, you do physically mature faster than boys at that age. So they've got a little bit more of that strength component to it. But this girl, that we've got on the team that splits times with the junior flyer, I watch her skate. I'm like, holy crap. No wonder you have to play on 2 teams. Like, everybody wants them,
I coached my nephew's roller hockey team for 3 years, and this girl, Jessica, was the best player on my team for 3 years. I kept the same team for 3, and we were good, and she was the best player. She was,
I feel like that may be a broader indictment on the men and women in society. I think
that's a good point.
They're more responsible.
Yeah,
they have better form. Men are just sloppy fucking messes.
Yeah, we're degenerates, all of us.
All right, we lost one of our, because middle school is co-ed, and we lost one of our anchors, who's a female, this year to the varsity girls high school team. Even though she's in 8th grade, you play up. So we're losing her on our co-ed team, and I'm like, damn it. It's basically like our best player.
Yep. All right, let's do our Devils. Okay, we're going to go. I guess we'll do Tim, Bobby, me. But, Bob, if you need more time, I'll go second. All right, so the first question, gentlemen. Which 3 Devil players' stock will fall this year?
Oh, this was I wanted to prepare for this. Yeah.
Oh, now you remember.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it could be any fall? Like, it doesn't have to be a large fall. It's just a
if you just think that they're going to have either an off year, a bad year, you don't believe in them. You think that. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we could do fall first. I had rise first, but I read fall. Dummies kicking in. All right, so Tim,
I can go first. Yeah, sure. Jake Allen.
Real quick, before we go any further, and people aren't talking about this. Hey, Jason, what's up? Do you guys worry that our goalie tandem are both 35 years old? Does that worry you guys at all? We often talk about the age cliff, but I don't think we ever think about it with the Devils. But
the aging curve for goalies is a little bit later, I think. I don't think so. Like, Bobrovsky just won a cup. Vasilevsky is still, chugging along. Freddie Anderson's still chugging along. I feel like goalies, there's a little bit different of a age curve for goalies than there are for skaters.
All right, so you're not concerned about it?
I'm not really concerned. No, and that's the thing, is like Markstrom, this is his last year, and if he does well, then this may be our tandem for a couple more years. I'd be curious to see what a Marsham extension would look like. Jake Allen's here
No.
for another 5 years, and I don't think Jake Allen's like going to be bad. I just think he was so good last year that I think he's going to come back down to earth a little bit.
Okay. So who else do you have? And
Actually, Jay Snow put, I think, Brendan Dillon. I think that contract may turn out to be a mistake, and we may be in buyout territory by the end of the year with him. Unfortunately, I do think on the surface, Stefan Nason, just because he scored 22 goals last year, I think the right move, and I was talking about this in my next blog, is I think the right move is to put Mercer on that power play 1 in Nason's spot. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I think you take that power play 1 away from Nason. I think his goal total will drop off. Again, I don't think any of these guys are really going to like fall off a cliff, with maybe except for Dylan. But I don't know. I hope he proves me wrong. And I know Dylan's like a vibes guy and like, an attitude guy, so it's not necessarily what he brings, but he wasn't very good from an on ice impacts perspective last year. So those would be my 3 guys.
that's true. All right, Bobby.
Okay, I think I got something here. On Nason, just for me, like I kind of thought of him too, and a little bit from a regression from a point standpoint. But I think a guy like that can actually have a reduced role in points and have more value to the team.
Yeah, I do
use
agree.
it properly. So I couldn't put him in somewhere like that. Now, if this guy comes back healthy, I could see a regression for Kovacevic. I think that we got something pretty special for him, maybe more than we thought. We're just talking regression here, not falling off a cliff. So he's one. I also agree with Allen. I think as a backup, he was kind of like the most dependable backup I've ever seen. And I don't know if you can replicate that. So, your stock would probably fall just a little bit there. And the third might not make the team. But Chris's boy, Casey, if he's getting any significant playing time, I can see him coming back down to earth. What was, Tim, you knew his like, shot
he shot like 25% or something like that. And
so again, it's not that he wouldn't maybe play even better with another year under his belt, but just from a production standpoint and that kind of rising star, I can see that maybe taking a dip.
All right. Well, those
That's
guys
good.
are all
I didn't
good.
actually consider Kovacevic. He's already out of mind for me because I think he's going to be dead for like 8 months.
But that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a very good point you made.
It does. Apparently coming off a knee injury. That's
exactly. I mean, we've seen it. It's always the second year, man. That's why I think that he's going to bounce back this year. My 3 players whose stock will fall is 2 of these guys I have on just because I'm following the trend line, and it's Dawson Mercer and Andre Palat. Those are my first 2 because, since they've been here, they've had, especially Mercer has the good year, then not so good, then not so good. So I'm saying not so good. Palat, yeah, I mean, we've talked about him on ad nauseum. My third guy, Jay brought up, and it's Jonas Siegenthaler, and it's only for the reason that Siegenthaler always has good year, bad year so far, and he's due for a bad year. So that's why I went with those.
He was my first, and I scratched him out and didn't even put him into the list. So I totally get where you're coming from with that.
Yep.
When Jay said, that's exactly the world of trouble.
I know. I really hope I'm wrong about that. All right. So what 3 Devil players' stock will rise this year, Tim?
All right. I am going with Dawson Mercer, number 1. I do think they're going to make that power play switch. And I think Mercer finally comes through, and I think he hits that.
I hope you're right.
25 goal minimum. Then I think Paul Cotter, I think we see another level from him. I think he adds some more assist totals. He had like a real Cy Young looking fucking goals assist totals. I think it was like 16 and 6 or something weird like that.
Right.
I think Cotter hits 20 goals. And then the next guy is Jack Hughes. I think he plays a full season. I've used this term a lot before, but I think he drops his nuts on the league. And I think, he brings us into the playoffs, and then he's a fucking horse in the playoffs too.
All right. What do you got, Bob?
I'm going a little off the charts on this one. First, I'm going to go with Timo Meier just because it's a fucking necessity. It just has to happen. And we're just saying stock rising here, man. You don't even have to blow me away. You just need to play somewhat closer to that salary you're getting. That would be number 1. Number 2, it's kind of 2A, 2B for me, to be honest with you. I'm really expecting Gritsuk to take a much bigger leap than maybe I originally thought of. We talked last year saying you can't pencil him in with the expectation of being on your top two lines or scoring X amount of goals, but he also doesn't project as somebody on the third line, but maybe you want to start him there, that kind of thing. I'm starting to see a role where as that complementary piece on a wing with low pressure on one of the first two, it might be a place where he can live. So I think we might see more from him than we originally thought. And just because I recently fell in love with Connor Brown, I'm going to say him. I think that's an under the radar signing that is instrumental. That's going to be instrumental to this team's success. I think he's going to really show us what he can bring. Maybe not just in points, but kind of in attitude and hopefully in playoff performance.
I can agree. You guys all have guys that are on the three guys on my list. My first guy was Dawson Mercer. I'm sorry, not Dawson. I'm reading the wrong list again. Jack Hughes. I'm sorry. Absolutely, Jack's got to lead the team, man. We're only getting to the first round of the playoffs without him, so he's got to be there. Timo Meyer, he's my second guy because same exact thing you said. And Paul Cotter, I'm with you. I think that his stock's going to rise. I think he's another year in Sheldon Keefe's system. He kind of, he has all the tools, man. I just hope he scored 20 goals. That'd be awesome. I mean, he's got we need him to. Our bottom six was so bad last year. So those are my
especially if he's doing it on the fourth line.
Yeah. And consistency across the year. Like he scored, and Nason too. Like they both, had a shitload of points. I think Nason was on like a 60-point pace through December. And then, Jay Snowmuch, like he didn't score a 5-on-5 goal after January 1st. Yeah,
that's bad. All right, Bobby, you probably already answered this question, but most impressive off-season acquisition for you, Tim?
Most impressive off-season acquisition?
Yeah, just impactful. Most impactful
Bradshaw
acquisition. Ooh,
the defensive
that came out of nowhere. Going this way, and Jay, way. I like it.
And Jay Snow made me think about this. He said he was worried about the decor. I actually think with Bradshaw at the helm, look, in practice, this could go totally fucking wrong. But with this guy's track record and what he's done with young defensemen and even resurrecting some veteran defensemen, I think our decor is going to be good. We need them all to step up and perform, but I'm really excited to see what he can do with some of these guys and what he can implement with Luke and Nemec.
Yeah, he's huge. I'm very excited to see our defense this year. I'm buying. I think I'm seriously thinking about buying an Angus Crookshank jersey.
Just for the name.
It's the greatest name in hockey. Period.
He's got to put his full name on the back too.
On the team. He did in Ottawa.
Well, no, like Angus.
Oh, you mean Angus?
Angus is such an elite first name.
That's what the A on his chest is going to be for.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Bobby, you're most impactful.
I did answer it. I think that is Connor Brown. I think that there's so many questions too about where's a guy like Dawson Mercer plays. Go back to his original role and be kind of that third line center. Does he earn some top two line playing time and kind of again that supporting role? I think what Connor Brown brings is the fact that it's going to allow us to maybe experiment a little more down there without losing much, because he really makes me feel secure if he's down there and other things are happening. So I think it's going to be him.
Yeah, and
he's going to be a penalty kill nightmare for people.
And he's my answer too, just because exactly what you said. And also, I think it's his arrival and the way he plays is going to impact Nico Hischier, and I think it's going to free him up to have some of those shifts against maybe not the best defensive guy or the best guys on the other team. Maybe it opens him up offensively. I like Connor Brown a lot. I think that was a smart move. All right, Tim, what type of year does Gritsuk need to have to be a true difference maker with this team?
To be a true difference maker,
yeah,
I think I've set the bar at 15 goals for him to be good. Like, okay, good. To be a true difference maker, if he cracks 20 goals and has like a 20 goals, 25 assist season, or is it like 40, 45 points?
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think he's going to get power play 2 time. Who knows what his 5-on-5 lineup deployment is going to be like. But I like the idea, like you said, and they kind of did this with Palat, how they put Palat with Jack and Brad. We're just like, don't fuck up.
Right.
Even though he fucked up a lot, but I could see them putting him with Gritsuk, Nico, and Brad as a line or something like that. I think 15's the minimum. We're good. 20 is like, yeah, this kid is legit. He's a real impact.
What you got, Bob?
I'm right around the same mark. I don't necessarily want to see him come in and kind of take that prototypical, hey, we're going to ease you in and maybe find himself in like a third line situation. I think, in that case, you're going to get maybe your 15 goals and he's going to pop up and down a little bit situationally. Maybe you said power play 2. I think if he's really going to have an impact on this team and it gets above that 20, maybe near that, I don't want to say 25. 25 seems a little lofty, but close to it and really pitching in, maybe finds himself with some top line minutes, kind of, again, supported. And that's to be the main guy. I think that will have a significant impact.
I think we all have, like, in the back of our head, like, we always talk kind of rationally about what we should do with this kid and everything. But don't you guys in the back of your head just kind of have this feeling like this kid's going to be for real? And if you do put him up with Jack and Bratt, he could be a guy that gives you 25 goals. I mean, I seriously think that.
I have so many memories of exciting prospects that would come in, they get drafted by the organization, and they'd always say something to the tune of, especially when we weren't known to be offensive, like, yeah, I'm hoping to change that. And, that's part of my game. And that's why they drafted me. And then, I mean, anybody as small as like 10 and B up to like Zaka and stuff like that, and it just didn't seem to work where they placed him or how they brought him in. Or maybe they're just busted players. I don't know. But either way, I feel like this is that kind of one guy where, again, you can say, go show us what you can do in kind of an upper role. Let the main guys kind of handle what you can handle. But I think he can kind of freelance out there and throw up some points.
Yeah, it depends on the level of trust that Keefe has in him. Like last thing I think we need to see is him to get Alex Holtz, and right. Holtz was playing with Jack and Brad all preseason, was 2 years ago. And then the second the season started, fourth line. And it's like, if you're not going to trust this kid to go out there and play those types of minutes, that's thing one. And then thing two is consistency. Like, that's always like pointed to as like the hardest thing to do in the NHL is that it is finding that game in, game out consistency. I'll be right back.
Au revoir.
Where's he going?
That's French for goodbye. Or something.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see the kid play. I mean, I think he's gonna. I'm excited about him, and I really, not much is going to get me excited about some young kid.
It's amazing when you have an off season of not much going on, how you can sit back and say, okay, these are now the players I get to think about. So again, last year at the end of the season, it's like, yeah, Gritzkook, I get it. Like, let's not over pump him. Okay. He's just another kid coming in. But then you're sitting here and you're looking all this time. You're like, okay, Palat's still here. What are we going to do? I'm still in this chart where he's on the first line. And I'm like, fuck it. He ain't going to do any worse than Palat on the first line. So maybe we do find like a big spark with this kid.
I still don't think Palat is on this team by the time the puck drops. Which brings us to our last question. Guys, I mean, we'll talk about it more when the season gets closer, but October is a critical month for this team. Like, the start is brutal, and if they get off to a slow start, it could seriously get ugly quick. So they play 11 games for a possible 22 points. How many points do they have to come out of October with to not be looking up and going, oh, shit?
Hang on, I'm doing some math.
I'm doing math in my head too. I'm going to go somewhere. It's not exact math, but somewhere around 75% of the points. I think that's somewhere like 16, 17 points at minimum. And quite frankly, I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to kind of come out like gangbusters, probably play above their head in the beginning and then level back off.
As a lot of teams do.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening again. I feel like they really got a point to make here that they're ready to come back out and fly hard, maybe catch some teams off guard and that kind of thing again with some of the new people that we got in here. So I would say at least 3/4 of those points.
Well, that's a lot. That's I think if they get to, get to and maintain that 100-point pace, like I would like to see consistency throughout the season. So that's around a 650 winning percentage, which is 14 points. Winnipeg, I think, Winnipeg had like
two more points. I'm 2 more points on you. That's another win.
I know, but like if you as the season goes along, that 2 points becomes 20 points. Like Winnipeg's President's Trophy winning season was 707 winning percentage. So
2 points becomes like 16 points.
yeah, but like if they're under 500, I probably won't be happy about it. But I don't think that's a good start. And I like what Bob said. Like I kind of agree. Like they need to take advantage of Florida when Florida is still fucking drunk. They need to jump on Carolina and make a statement down there that this is a different fucking team this year. They need to come out of the gates hot.
I think that's exactly it. I have it at 14 points, but I think they could actually do better than that because they have. This is a big statement month too. Like, are you seriously a Stanley Cup contender? You're playing all the top teams. If you end up below 14 points, looking up from in fourth place in the Metro after October 31st, something's wrong.
Yeah, winning begets winning. It's you get that stone rolling downhill. You start feeling good about things. The exact opposite can happen. And that's
yeah.
Last year,
absolutely.
Remember, everybody thought Nashville was going to be the best offseason. They were going to be this incredible team. They started the season like 0-9 or something like that. And so it's like they never ever recovered from that. The only team and that's why there's that demarcation point of Thanksgiving where it's like 75% of the teams in the playoffs positioned by then make the playoffs.
Yeah, and because if you have a really good October, then you just put the NHL on notice, and you got to keep it up. Absolutely. You can't just fall off a cliff like they tend to do. And, have a good start off. You got to start off strong. I mean,
win 4 in a row right to start. Go 4-0.
Yep.
I continue to have more faith in this team during the regular season when they're up against teams that are in the top. I think that's when they perform their best. I think that even in the last few years, like for my money, if it wasn't for freaking hitting Carolina, if we could just maybe not play them in the playoffs one year, I think we're going a round or two.
I want to play them so bad in the first round next year.
Sure, take them this year, fine, and finally exercise that demon. That'd be great. But I'm just saying they play up very well to their competition. We've got I think a couple of character guys that are going to come in here and really kind of help steady that ship. I think what Chris said about picking Jack Hughes to have one of those kind of standout years. I think the guy's going to be money. I think he hears the noise. I don't think Jack does not hear it. I think, and we've said he wants to be the best. Probably never will be technically the best, but in his mind, he's never going to stop trying to be the best. And I think he's fully leading this team to a lot of points and definitely over 100 points for himself.
Yeah, and once we get there, he needs to then take that next step in the playoffs and be that fucking guy in the playoffs. He was against the Rangers 2 years ago.
Oh, he was so good.
But I'm excited for this season. It's a great call about Connor Brown. You can't teach going to the Stanley Cup Finals twice in a row. You just that the learning lessons from that, and then for what it's worth, Palat still has that experience. Dylan's been there before, Markstrom's been there before,
and for all the shitting that I do on Palat, he has shown up the 2 times that he was in the playoffs.
That's why I think they may I've said this before, the Devils may value Palat more than the fan base does, simply for that. I know, Bob. Sorry.
No. Sorry. That is fine. And if he gives us that element in the playoffs, even if it doesn't manifest into points, but he's influential in the plays that got everything going, I'm fine with that. My point is between now and then, stop with this fantasy bullshit of having him on the top 2 lines. He's an anchor there. Put him in a role where he can just be something different.
Can we put him on LTIR till April?
No,
we got to call Vegas to see how they do that.
Yeah, we got to call Tanya Harding. I've said that. Put Palat, Glass, and Brown. Have that be your third line, and just say you guys are taking the top lines. I don't give a shit if you don't score a single fucking goal. Just take out the top line.
Yeah. They got the dogs to do it. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Sheldon Keefe's system too. Second year,
Sheldon Keefe's system, Bradshaw's defensive systems, Colleton, with the power play back the way it was. Penalty killing, every single part of this team. There's so many parts of this team that were elite, and people saw like kind of that dog shit 5-on-5 play, and I think that is going to get a lot better.
Well, see, that's the thing, to bring it all the way back to the first question in what Chris was doing here about like a regression. And I'm like, no, I honestly think that each and every player has a little bit of room for improvement in different ways that fully help the team. So for like, for the Timos and Jack and Brat, it's probably offensive production. It doesn't have to be increased offensive production for a guy like Hischier if he's got more role to help the team win in other ways. It doesn't need to be more offensive production from a guy like Nason. He can help play in other ways. There's other elements that people can bring to their games, like adjusting to 5-on-5, chipping in a few more goals there. So maybe your stat line's the same at the end of the year, but you chipped in more 5-on-5 than power play. And,
Right.
all these little things compounded over the course of a year. I feel like almost each and every person on this team can actually pick up just a little bit.
I'm down with that. Anything else you guys want to add for this evening?
No. Saturday night, rocking party time.
Rocking party time. I'm going to rock the
Jay
bed.
Snow showing up. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, Jay. Thank you very much for being our only viewer. We appreciate you, though.
He's
Very
not
nice to be watched.
Jay Snow is not a retarded monkey.
no, he's the other one.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch the rest of draft day. Very excited about football tomorrow.
I just watched that recently too. It's a good movie. All
My
right, guys.
my friend Sammy's in that movie. He's because he worked for the NFL at the time, so
Right.
he has like a one line in it, and he gets like a check from SAG for like $10 every couple of months.
Nice. If
Yeah.
I watch it a few more times, will he get more money?
No, I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
so.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Well,
I don't know
thanks-
how that works anymore.
Thanks for
Anyway.
listening to us, watching us. We really appreciate you guys. We're the Uncle Puckers, and we'll see you when we see you.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
And fuck you, Valicat.
There you go.